Good morning everyone, welcome back to the ObaNutrition channel. Today in this video I'll be sharing about steps you take once you are diagnosed with hypertension. So how do we diagnose hypertension? Hypertension is diagnosed if you're having a systolic blood pressure of above 140 millimeters of mercury and a diastolic blood pressure of above 90 millimeters of mercury. So for example, if you walk into a triage and your pressure reads 170 over 100, it means that you're having hypertension because your systolic is already above 140 while diastolic is above 90. And someone might ask me, what is the systolic blood pressure? This is the pressure within your arteries when your heart is beating, while the diastolic blood pressure, this is the pressure within your arteries when your heart is at rest between heartbeats. Also, if you are going to experience typical symptoms of hypertension such as severe headaches, which will worsen probably at night, and you are unable to sleep, causing insomnia, a lot of nose bleeding, a very fast heart rate with palpitations such as tachycardia or bradycardia. Tachycardia is where you are having a very fast rate, while bradycardia a very slow heart rate. Experiencing shortness of breath on exertion, you are unable to do a simple activity such as walking to the washroom. Visible pulse on the neck, the head, on the ears, and on the ears also experiencing a lot of ringing. Also experiencing confusion and loss of consciousness will indicate hypertension. So once you are diagnosed with hypertension, there are various things that you can do. First, the thing you should do is take a breather, relax. This is not the end of life. Ideally, most of people will walk into a hospital after probably they have already traveled, they have done a lot of walking. So once the pressure is taken, it will be a bit high because of that, or maybe they are stressed about something. So taking a breather and relaxing is quite beneficial in helping to bring it down so that we can be better diagnose it instead of just labeling you as hypertensive. So you can relax for about 15 minutes. Maybe you have arrived in a hospital, relax for a 15 minutes after taking your first reading and then take another reading. You can also ideally do your blood pressure well on a bed. You are lying on a bed. You can ask either the nurse or even you are someone near to you, or like a caregiver, if you have it at home, the blood pressure machine, and take your blood pressure while lying down. At this point, your blood pressure should be lower. If it's still high, then it means that you are hypertensive. So once you're diagnosed with the blood pressure, it's important to realize that it's not the drugs or the lack of consuming drugs that actually caused hypertension. You should first investigate the cause. The cause is usually whatever you're doing as a lifestyle. It could be the things that are in your environment, or it could be the things that you are consuming as a person. So the first thing is to get the services of a good nutritionist to help you in managing your blood pressure. You should not rush to get medications because, as I've said, it was not the lack of medications or the you refusing to take medication that actually caused it. And I want to be very emphatically there. First caused it. So once you are firstly diagnosed, it was not that you refused medication that it caused it. It's because it's something that you are doing as a lifestyle, either in your diet or in your environment, that is causing it. So seek the services of a good nutritionist to help you there. So first thing you should do is get to know your BMI. Why is your BMI very important? Because obesity is very much linked to cardiovascular problems, which include hypertension. So if you're having a BMI that is above 29, that means you either have a BMI of 30, of 34, of 36, or 39, or even 42. That means you're quite obese, and it's affecting even the pressure at which your heart pumps blood. So a larger body size will eventually predispose you to having hypertension because the heart muscles will have to use a lot of pressure in order to ensure blood reaches every organ. So lose the extra weight. That is the first thing you should do. The other thing you should do is you should now focus on things you should stop consuming. There are particular things that are in your diet that will obviously cause hypertension. So these are the following things you should stop consuming. First, quit the sugar, and this is simple as no longer purchasing sugar. Every time you walk in the supermarket, avoid the shelves that will have a lot of sodas, have a lot of juices, packets of sugar. Just stop buying them. It's simple as that. Stop consuming wheat. That means you have to also stop buying wheat flour. Stop consuming trans fats such as Blue Band, margarine, a lot of deep fried foods such as deep fried chicken, deep fried fish, chips, bajias, mandazis. All of these are quite elements that cause hypertension in the body. Also, stop consuming foods rich in monosodium glutamate or MSG, or even the industrial name known as E621. The foods that have a lot of it are things like the tomato sauce, the chili sauce, Indomie, noodles, Royco, a lot of smokies, sauces. All of these are very rich in the MSG, which is an element that also causes hypertension. Also, over consuming caffeine, especially in energy drinks for those who travel a lot. So energy drinks such as Lucozade, Monster, Red Bulls, all of these are very rich in caffeine that will eventually cause hypertension. Also, ideally, just consume your tea or coffee, 1 cup of it in the morning, rather than consuming several cups throughout the day. Also, stop consuming alcohol and stop smoking. Those are the things that you're supposed to immediately stop consuming in your diet. Then there are things you're supposed to start consuming in order to be able to correct hypertension. First, you're supposed to now consume plenty of potassium in order to counteract the action of high blood pressure caused by excessive sodium uptake. So plenty of potassium is quite essential. You can find potassium in foods such as vegetables, sweet potatoes, Irish potatoes, pumpkins, butternuts, avocados, bananas. Half your plate should always be filled with vegetables in order to ensure that your diet is very rich in potassium. Low potassium is a predisposing factor to causing hypertension. So if you are consuming adequate amounts of potassium, your blood pressure will always be in the normal ranges. The other thing is to consume plenty of vitamin D and magnesium. Calcium is another element. If taken very excessively by the body, can cause hypertension. So if you are consuming adequate amounts of vitamin D and magnesium, this will regulate the uptake of calcium in the body. You can find vitamin D from sunlight. So just taking 40 minutes of your day basking in the sun or walking in the sun can help you acquire adequate amounts of vitamin D, especially if you are a black person, because of the melanin. Melanin slows down the absorption of vitamin D in the body. If you are white, you don't have to take that long. Simply taking 20 minutes in the sun can help you get adequate amounts of vitamin D. Then you can also find vitamin D in seafood such as fish, sardines, in dairy products such as the cow's milk. However, do not take pasteurized milk assuming that you are taking vitamin D. There's no bioavailable vitamin D in pasteurized milk. I want to emphasize the term bioavailable. It might be labeled it has vitamin D, but the bioavailability is not quite adequate. The other thing you can also find vitamin D is in free-range eggs or even in beef liver. For magnesium, magnesium is very rich in anything that is green, and it's found plenty in plants, because plants are the ones that are green in nature. Because magnesium is an essential part in formation of chlorophyll. So anything that has the green matter always has vitamin D, especially from plants. As magnesium, So magnesium, you can find it in avocados. Avocados are green in color. You can find it also in the green leafy vegetables. The other thing you're supposed to consume in your diet is a lot of omega-3 fats. Omega-3 fats are essential in reversing inflammation that is mostly caused by you consuming a lot of trans fats and deep fried foods. So omega-3 fats, you can find them in seafood such as fish, sardines. You can also find it in the free-range eggs. Free-range eggs are always yellow yolked. They have a yellow yolk and they look this color. I hope it's visible, that color. Also, the other thing you're supposed to do is replace the simple carbohydrates with complex carbohydrates. So simple carbohydrates will increase the blood sugar level in your blood. High blood sugar levels are a predisposing factor to hypertension. So replace them with complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates, they take quite some time for their sugar to be released into blood, and also they have a greater satiety effect. So instead of consuming your chapatis, which are simple carbohydrates, take something like sweet potatoes, arrowroots, cassavas, pumpkins, butternuts, matoke or green bananas. Instead of buying the packaged ugali flour, you can mill your own ugali flour. You can either mill millet, sorghum, or even you can mill the maize itself rather than buying the packaged one. Then last but not least is replace your normal table salt with sea salt or Himalayan salt. So the normal table salt has a disadvantage by the fact that it only has two minerals in them. It only has sodium and iodine. So then it only having sodium means it doesn't quite provide the other alternative that can help lower your blood pressure. Remember, sodium raises your blood pressure while potassium lowers it. So they have to be both in the diet. When you take low sodium, your blood pressure will be very low and can cause you other problems. And if you are going to take very high sodium, it's going also to give you a problem. So the normal table salt has that disadvantage that it only provides two nutrients, sodium and iodine. So you can replace the normal table salt with sea salt or Himalayan salt, which have other minerals such as potassium, magnesium, and sodium. This means that you're having a lot of minerals that will also lower your blood pressure. So you can ideally replace them. However, do not dare to go on a low salt diet or remove salt from your diet. That is vital because it's going to give you other cardiovascular problems. Remember, sodium is also important in food and in your body. So if you cannot access the Himalayan salt or the sea salt, just take the normal table salt moderately. Do not take very low and do not remove it. So I hope you have learned one or two things from this video and you can share it with someone who is ailing from hypertension. And also remember to subscribe to this channel and share this video with a loved one. See you next time.